Hello and welcome to episode number 27. Fun. What is that? So, yesterday is the day that I normally do my weekly podcast, my weekly show. And it turned out that it was windy. And I know for most people's world, that doesn't mean anything, it doesn't have any relevance to their life. Whereas in my world, it does. And when it's windy, and in the way it was windy yesterday, for me, it means windsurfing. And so instead of doing my show at the same time that I normally do it, it's happening a day later. So the topic today is about fun and what is it? What is fun? What is fun in your world? And what kind of what relevance does it have, and how much do you actually choose it? And do you allow fun to run your life? So what was interesting for me yesterday, so the wind conditions of yesterday were here in Vancouver. The way the wind set up, it only sets up like this maybe once a year in the summertime. And so last year it happened once, and I was out windsurfing once last year as well. And so when situations like that show up, basically my entire life goes on hold, and I kind of make a point of doing whatever it takes to get on the water. And why would I choose something like that? What would make me choose to go windsurfing? Like, what is it for me that I look at, or what does that create for me in my world, and how does it contribute to me in my world? And that's that's really the question. What this is really about. It's like, what is that contribution, and how much does it contribute to me? Well, quite a bit actually. It just brings me a lot of peace and a lot of joy, and I love being out on the water. And now, as I was looking at this yesterday after going windsurfing, I looked at a few things that I do, and I like to do things physically with my body. That actually brings me a lot of joy. And what I realized is, for the last 3 days, including yesterday, or yesterday being the third day, that I had done an activity every single day. So on the first day, I went for a long SUP, or stand-up paddleboard, which was really great. It was a beautiful day for that. The next day, I went for a long bike ride up a hill, which isn't fun for most people. It is for me. This particular ride, I had a target in mind, and which I accomplished, which was fun, and also was physically a lot of work. And then yesterday, I went for a windsurf. And so I did three different things on 3 different days, all in sequence of each other, kind of thing. It just happened to show up that way. But what that creates in my world is that I realize how much I actually enjoy doing those things, and how much they contribute to my life. And like, some of them don't actually take up that much time. The bike ride, I think, was like an hour and a half or something like that, maybe 2 hours. I'm not quite sure. And yeah, no, more like an hour and a half. And so it's like doing these things in your life that you enjoy doing. So that is what is fun for me. So my question to you is, what is fun for you? Like, what is fun in your world? And it's a kind of an interesting question, because it isn't, there is no kind of generic answer to that. It is very specific to every single person. What is fun to me may be complete torture to somebody else. And what is really fun for somebody else may just seem like something that I would never even consider. I mean, I know for probably a lot of teenage boys, playing video games all day may seem like fun, and maybe not even teenage boys, maybe adults. And that for me isn't really a lot of fun to do that, play video games all day. But that's really fun for some people. And so what is fun for you? What is that? What is that thing? What are those things? What are, maybe they're similar in the way that they show up in your world. So what are they? What is it that you really enjoy? And what, like for me, windsurfing, I get to kind of get to go out and play, and I get to expand myself, and it's also a sense of connection, or a reminder of the connection that we have all the time. And it's also a play for me, like playing with the wind and playing with the water and playing with the waves. That's something that is inherently, it's something that I really, really enjoy doing. And so, and these other sports too, like I really like being on the water. In fact, the other day we were paddling, we went for this 2 hour paddle, and went to a new area, kind of checked out this new bay and stuff like that. And on the way back, it was just like this really simple thing. We were coming back, and we are almost in at the beach where we launched from. And I was paddling, and I was looking down, and there's sort of these strand type, I don't know what to describe them, like algae in the water. And it was really cool because I was looking at them, and they go down a ways into the water. And as I was paddling, I was looking down, looking at this algae, and there was some sort of like, it was almost like mesmerizing. It was really cool. Like there was something special about that moment that was really neat. Um, and it was really interesting. Like it just created something. Like that's one of the moments that stood out for me on the entire paddle. Um, and so you have these moments, you have these experiences that create something different in your world. And we have these when we do things that we really enjoy. Um, one of the things is riding up the hill. I had a target, so that was my motivation. Though I didn't it was a time target, but I never looked at my watch the entire ride, except at the start of the ride and the end of it, to see where I was at. And though what was kind of neat is that I had these little targets along the way, and I would play these games, and I've talked about it before in playing games. But it was kind of like I was asking these questions and asking things of my body that I'd never really asked before, and was playing with the energy of my body and playing with what I thought was going on, or where I would go into a conclusion or this reality of what it is that my body's actually capable of, or what I consider as pain or burning or hurt or whatever it is, and was playing with expanding that space. And so these are all the things that I do when I go for a bike ride. And that's what's fun for me. And also being out and being in the elements, and just having the awarenesses of the change in like temperature and the wind, and all these different things that I seem to be acutely more aware of when I'm riding my bike. And so all these elements are the fun elements in my life. And these are just examples of physical things in that sense. So what is fun for you? Well, another aspect of it in my life that's been showing up, that I've talked about a little bit, is stock trading. And it's really neat when you have these awarenesses and you play. And I've been playing with this one particular stock where I got in and it went down, and I didn't panic and I didn't get out. And as it was going down, I would just kept on adding. And then it turned around and started going up, and it went up pretty quickly. And it was something that I've been aware of, that was going to happen. And so it was really fun to see things show up in a way that I was aware that they could. And so that's really fun, and it's really fun to play with that. And that's actually one thing that I love about stock trading. And if you play with a lot of money, which I don't at this point, but when you start playing with larger amounts, you just kind of extrapolate with what you have now. It's fun to see these waves kind of, and the ups and downs, and the ups and downs actually, I don't see them the way most people see them. The ups, everyone's excited, the downs, people get depressed. And I don't see it that way at all. It's the playing for me. It's like, okay, so there's other opportunities when it goes down, um, and there's all these different aspects of it that you can play with. And so that's what it is. And it's really realizing that in my own way, the way I see as play is what's fun for me. And so other people's definition of play may be different, and other people's definition of fun is certainly going to be different than mine. So what is it for you, and what is it that you already do in your life that is fun, and what are the things in your life that you don't do that you know are fun and that would contribute to you? And would you be willing to actually choose them? Would you be willing to actually choose to play with that more, choose to add more fun to your life? And what does that create in your world? What does that create? Do you notice when you start choosing things that are more fun, does your life change? Change in all areas, not just specific to the thing that you're doing in that moment that is fun. Does it actually open up the space and create more space in your world in a completely different way? And so it's really looking at these different ways of playing, really, these different ways of looking at the world, these different ways of adding more to your life, and adding and seeing also when you choose these things, it's also seeing what you have defined as fun. And what if those definitions also of what fun is could be something else? And so I've just been talking about things that I've been playing with. Also, you can look at this in relationships. What can you do to add more fun? What are you aware of that would change things and do things different that would be more fun? And all the places where you do things where you don't think it is fun, what if that definition wasn't real? What if you could destroy and uncreate it and actually look at, okay, these things that I don't consider as fun, what would it take, or what would I have to do to make them fun? And so it's not something that that's not a question most people often ask. That's not a question that a lot of people even consider as changing the definition of what's fun in the world. What if everything was fun? Just fun in different ways. And what if you could change everything so it would show up in a completely different way, and it could maybe be fun? And so it's really asking some questions around this particular topic. Like, maybe there was things in your life that you used to do that were really fun that you've stopped doing. Maybe what used to be really fun isn't fun anymore, so you're looking for different things that are fun. Maybe what you do as a job is super fun. Maybe it isn't. What if it was? What if whatever you did was actually really fun and you really enjoyed it? So it's really playing with these different things in our life that we have already concluded, or maybe have expectations around, that could show up in a different way, that could be something different. And what if you also were actively looking at things that do make you fun and add those to your life? Another thing that's really fun for me is eating ice cream and donuts. So the other day went to a place that has these really awesome donuts, and just hung out and had a donut. These things are big donuts, so unless you're really hungry, you can only eat one. At least I can only eat one. They're like a meal, basically. So that's really fun. And so it's like all these it's it's like, what if we really added that? What if we added more fun, even if it was just a little bit to begin with? uh, what else could show up? and and also going into the exploration of it, um, going into the exploration of seeing all the things that we to play with it, to see like, I wonder if I tried this, what would it be like? Um, and there may be things that you thought you would never enjoy at all, and therefore have never even looked at trying them or playing with it or experiencing it. And you end up going there, and it's like, oh, this was actually something quite enjoyable. Maybe I'll have to do this again. And there may be aspects. I'm going to use windsurfing as a thing because it's something that shows up in my world a lot. I like windsurfing on small gear and different types of windsurfing. Well, there's a new kind of windsurfing coming called foil boarding, where you're in a hydrofoil that's attached to your board. So that looks super interesting to me. So that's something that I'm definitely looking to get into, because it just adds to what I'm already. It adds to windsurfing, but it is something different, and it's also like, it's also part of the thing of learning something new. Um, and if you're anything like me, you get bored really easily, and so anything that's super stagnant, or just repetitive, isn't that much fun. And I really like some diversity and change things up a bit. And so, what else can you play with there? Like, what else can you look at, and what else can show up that in this 10 seconds hasn't been something on your radar? Or maybe there has been something pinging you forever that you have just been ignoring for a very long time. Well, maybe this is the moment to go do, or whatever that thing is that's pinging you, and see what it will show up like, how it will show up, and what kind of contribution it could be to you. And so, with the one of my favorite questions, what else is possible with this all? What else is possible in your world? And maybe it's time to shake it up a little bit, and maybe it's time to add more fun in your world. You don't have to, but maybe your life could be that much more interesting. Just a question, just a possibility. And so, really, I think that one of the biggest thing is that we don't acknowledge as well what fun does for us. And what I mean by that is, like, we don't acknowledge how much it contributes to our life, or we don't really acknowledge where it contributes to our life, or that it contributes to our life. And like, look at the things that you do that's fun for you. Maybe it's like riding a horse, or maybe it's driving a car, or whatever it is. Maybe it's playing a board game with some people. Like, there's all these different things that can be really, really enjoyable. And what if we don't actually acknowledge what these do for us, and not only for us, but the space that they create for everyone that is in our world, and that we have contact with? Like, it's that whole thing of like, changing the way you are creates, so you change and you show up different in the world. And how much does that create a difference with every single person that you interact with, every single person that you meet? What does that change, not only for you, but everyone else? And if you did more things that created more ease or more enjoyment in your life, would you just have more ease and enjoyment in your life that would contribute to other people's ease and enjoyment. And so it's really looking at those things, because I realize with me, especially on certain things, I probably don't acknowledge as much, or actively acknowledge what that creates in my world when I go do these things, how much ease that creates and how much enjoyment that creates. And these are, that goes for everything. All these different aspects of my life that are all interconnected, but some of them show up very different and are quite different experiences. Windsurfing and stock trading are two very different things, and show up as very different in my life as well. And so, what else is possible there, and what else can you play with? And really look at the fun that you already have, or really look at the things that you do in your life that are fun for you, and really look at how much they contribute to your life when you do them, I suppose, as opposed to when you don't do them. What does your life look like? Another thing that I super enjoy that I don't really talk about a lot is getting my bars run, Access Bars, which is amazing. I get them run once a week, and that's really fun for me. And the space that creates in my world is amazing, and it's a demand that I have that I get them run once a week, because it does create so much space, and it's fun. Like that, there's experiences that I have while either gifting them or receiving them that is just so interesting, that doesn't necessarily show up in any other way. And so again, I'm just giving different examples of different things that are fun in my world, to give you a broader sense of what may actually be fun for you. Like also riding my bike up hills, not a lot of fun for a lot of people. I actually enjoy it. So you may be as weird and strange as I am and have things that you really, really enjoy that no one else enjoys. And what if you get to actually enjoy those fully and just acknowledge how much they contribute to you and how much you actually enjoy doing them? And so it's really looking at these things in our world, and what else is there in your world that you actually know that something could be fun potentially, but you just haven't chosen it yet. Play with that as well. Play with those kinds of things that light you up in a different way, and light you up, and really, sorry, when I said the lighting up thing, there was this thing that lit up in me, and it's really this, like, how much do we, when we light up others? Like, really, that thing of, like, when we are this space of fun and joy, like, how much do other people actually notice that? And when you look at people in your life that are really fun, like, do you want to hang out with them more? Generally, yeah. Do you hang out with people that are grumpy and complain all the time and just hate life all the time? Probably not. Like, you're like, oh, okay, that was fun. Like, let's choose something else. So it's like, what if you could be that person that people see as this being of joy? And what if you already are that? And what if you already are that to a whole bunch of people? And if you aren't, what if you could be that? What could you change in your life today? Like today, literally today, what could you change different? What if you could do one thing today? I know that's tiny, like one thing is like literally nothing, that you actually is fun for you, and you actually chose that today, and you did that today, whatever that one thing was. And it could be anything. It could be from, like, feeding your ducks at the local pond, I don't know, going to a movie, even could be fun. What could you choose today that would change, that would contribute to you? And so that's my ask. What is that? What can you change? What can you do today that would be fun? And let me know. And write in the comment section and see what shows up. And then acknowledge the contribution that choosing that, acknowledge the contribution it was to you and to people around you. And on that note, thank you so much for joining. I'll do this again next week, and I might actually change it a bit. I might play with it a little bit. We'll see. I have some ideas. We'll see what the next few weeks bring. So thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you again next week. Bye-bye.